Hello. It has been drawn to my attention by several of you that my musical endeavours on this channel have been somewhat imbued with frivolity, not to say a certain level of silliness. And indeed the music itself has been borrowed, some might say lifted, stolen, hijacked from some of my more illustrious and massively better paid colleagues in the music business. I am obviously, as an artist, sensitive to these accusations, and I have endeavoured, as you will see, to correct this by composing and writing the lyric, and indeed compiling a multimedia experience in support of said piece, which is an oratorio of our time. It is a piece of enormous gravity, seriousness, and one may say weight in our modern cultural firmament. The first part of the oratorio of our time is a majestic piece of music. It starts off grandiose, bombastic, with great block chord formations in a high classical style, with grandiose major keys, and then it develops, showing us touches of romanticism, neo-romanticism, modern, neo-modern, postmodern, neo-postmodern, post-postmodern, and neo-post-neo-modern. It takes through a journey of modality and tonality that is quite breathtaking in part. The middle section, as it does, playing with both time signatures, key signatures, and changes in tempo, takes us through a whole range of the musical emotional scale, along the continuum that is an ever-shifting sounds and modality and key and tone and texture, before coming back to the rousing majesty, the supreme finale that features a cadenza that takes us on and flourishes and builds to a crescendo of sound and cacophony that resolves beautifully and sensitively into a perfect cadence. The words of this piece are massively important. I have drawn upon some of the work of some of the great lyricists of our time, Ira Gershwin, Oscar Hammer-Sandwich, W.S. Gilbert, Lorenzo da Ponte, the man who wrote the words for the theme tune to Only Fools and Horses, who have all made very, very astute and acerbic comments on their time and their contemporary issues. I have chosen for the theme of the first movement the inquiry into historic child abuse that has been so much part of the news over the past year. As you will be aware from the newspapers, the government appointed a High Court judge to oversee this inquiry, except that she had to resign because she was connected to some of the people accused in the inquiry. But they learnt a lesson, and then they appointed another High Court judge who was different to the first one, except that she was also connected to some of the perpetrators cited in the inquiry, and she also resigned, thus further delaying the onset of the inquiry. The third High Court judge they have appointed they decided to have from as far away as possible, and she's come all the way from New Zealand because there was nobody on Mars who was available. And it is hoped that she has no connection with any of the perpetrators alleged to have committed crimes by the inquiry. This is the first movement of the oratorio of our time.
Fishy business, fishy, fishy business. Oh, fishy, fishy, fishy business. Fishy business, fishy, fishy business. Oh, fishy, fishy, fishy business.
The second movement of the oratorio of our time takes us to a far darker place. It is, in essence, a gut-wrenching, stomach-churning, throat-grabbing, bottom-itching, earwax cleaning, eyeball rubbing, head-scratching journey through the darkest modalities of atonality. And yet somehow it keeps a hold of its neo-romantic basis and never quite leaves that Mahler-esque stream of pain and darkness, where tonal combat and clashes of chord take us on deeper and deeper into this terrifying world of contemporary issues through the force of classical music. The use of the orchestra in this is minimalist at times, and yet builds into crescendos of enormous emotion and depth and intense tonal colour. When it resolves slowly and gently into a much clearer and much more secure minor key, the listener has been taken on a journey that is at once exhausting and yet uplifting, revealing, and quite exceptional. Lyrically, the second movement touches on the Levison inquiry. The investigation into phone hacking had our press, our politicians, transfixed for several weeks in 2011 as Lord Levison dug into the dodgy practice of some of our newspaper editors and the complicity of some of our politicians. And the lyrics explore fully the range and the depth of some of the issues that this very, very significant inquiry threw up. It doesn't leave any stone unturned with its acerbic comment and its very purposeful and insightful analysis of the inquiry, its investigation, its conclusions, and its consequences.
Fishy business, fishy, fishy business. Oh, fishy, fishy business. Fishy business, fishy, fishy business. Oh, fishy, fishy business.
The final movement of the oratorio of our time brings us back to the grandiose majesty of the opening. Through its rondeau form, the recurring leitmotifs seen elsewhere bring together a formulation that is musically whole and sensually satisfactory. It gives us a sense of belonging, it gives us a sense of closure musically, as the composer takes us again through a journey that we have seen before, but in different forms. It's the same but different. It is a magnificent epitaph to a musical monument that will stand for centuries. In terms of the lyrics, for the final movement, we take our theme from a very, very important annual event. The World Angling Championships.
Fishy business, fishy, fishy business. Oh, fishy, fishy, fishy business. Fishy business, fishy, fishy business. Oh, fishy, fishy, fishy business.
So what have we learned? In our society, it's not what you do that matters. It's what you say you do that's important. And that way, we can all be on our own journey to outstanding. Unless, of course, we're already there. Or perhaps if we say we are.